Hello spooky people, Courtney here with Johnny Bronto. We are on our Unmasking the Horror tour and we are doing 6 houses today. We just got to go through The Walking Dead, Living in the Dead, and we also did Run, Blood, Sweat, and Fears, and we're on our way to the next house. We don't know what the location is yet, but we're taking lots of pictures for you guys, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see all the details with the lights on, so catch you later.
All right, and we are live once again, so hopefully third time is a charm. Apologize for the technical difficulties there. When I got one thing working, the other thing stopped working, and I wanted Courtney to be able to actually see what we're going to be talking about, as opposed to staring at a blank screen. So sorry about that. Well, we are back, and we're very excited this week. My name is Johnny Bronto, and I am with the beautiful and talented
Courtney Peters. Hello.
And together we're HauntScene, and this weekend the Halloween Horror Nights event opened up here in Central Florida. We're really excited about that. Finally, we got to do the event together. I was able to go to the actual employee preview on Wednesday, but yeah, I gotta admit, Courtney wasn't there. My heart wasn't into it. I only stayed for a couple houses. I watched like one show and I left like dejected. I was like, man, I really, really wish she was here. So she finally arrived on Friday. We were actually able to do the event both Friday and Saturday. Wiped us out, and on top of that, we actually did a behind-the-scenes tour on Sunday morning. So we got a lot to talk about, tons of images, lots of pictures, action-packed episode for you. So, Courtney, just kind of, what are your initial impressions of this year's event?
Oh man, there's a lot to say. It's definitely amazing. It's definitely one of the best years that we've had in a while, and I'm in love with a lot of things. I've picked my top 3 houses, but I can't really place the rest of the list yet, just because there's so much to experience, and like I feel like I need to do everything a couple more times, and I really didn't get to spend much time in the streets, but everything's beautiful. Everything is so detailed. There are so many Easter eggs for the fan. Like this really was a gift to us from art and design. And my favorite is body collectors. I'm obsessed. And my biggest surprise hit, I'd have to say, is Alice in Wonderland, Asylum in Wonderland. I was shocked at how amazing the 3D house was, and it's really disorienting, but it's colorful and it's amazing, and I love it every time I go through. I see new details. This year is incredible.
It is. It absolutely is. And I was kind of looking around the internet, and I forget what article I read today was on a website, but they summed it up really well. They said all that history, all that stuff that you always heard about, back before. I mean, a lot of us have only moved to Florida in the last, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, myself. All this stuff that everybody always talked about, we actually get to experience this year. So that's a unique thing about this year, and I'm really happy about it. Now, my top 3, and we'll go over this a little bit later. We probably have very similar tastes in this, because we were both looking to a lot of the same things when we were doing the tours. So we have lots of really, really cool stuff to talk about. Now, absolutely. What I'm going to do is we're going to really talk about the tour first, because this will kind of segue into describing the haunts. So we were able to do what was called the Unmasking the Horror tour. And our tour guide was one of the VIP tour guides through Universal, was named David Brent. And he was like amazing. He's like the best tour guide ever. So David Brent, if you're watching, we gave you one of our cards. Hello, thank you so much. Sorry we didn't tip you. I didn't have any cash on me.
I didn't either.
I know, right? People are like handing money afterwards. I was like, oh shit, he's so worth money, but I didn't have any on me. So
next time. And if you're gonna do a tour, whether it's one of the daytime lights on or one of the nighttime RIP tours, you can call and request him. So I highly suggest that, because he was incredible.
Yeah, he's been working for Universal since like Fright Nights, back when the event first started, before it was even Halloween Horror Nights, and he knows like everything. And I've actually had him on tour before a couple of years ago. I think it was for 22 or something like that. He's really, really good. So good job. So that was great. Now we have our chat up today. Now we had to kind of rearrange some stuff a little bit. So what I've done is I've put our little slideshow here. I was originally going to keep the actual chat up, and we'll definitely keep an eye on it. But as we go through the slideshow of the images that we took, because between the two of us, you took 700 pictures, I took 500 pictures. We have like 1,200 pictures of
just from
stuff
the first
up.
weekend. I've been editing for hours.
Just from the first weekend. And we kind of I was able to skim through and just kind of pick out some of the highlights and stuff that we would tour. The slideshow is actually in the order of the tour that we did. That was a pain in the butt to actually put them in order. But we have lots of really cool things to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our other scene here. So don't worry, we're keeping an eye on the comments, but we're going to take that away for a moment just to give us more space here. And here's the logo this year, and we're just going to kind of go right into it. So you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So first house that we did was actually Run, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Fierce. And I didn't really know that there was like this big backstory to Run. I always thought it was like an evil game show or like an evil American Gladiators. And when he started to really talk about the actual story, like behind Run, it was really interesting.
There's so much, yeah.
So, go ahead, because I know you want to tell the little mini story.
You actually might be able to describe it better than me. I know it had to do with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and they sort of rewrote history, and everything was changed. And the missile crisis it actually happened. They blew up a country.
Basically, the Cuban Missile Crisis happened, and instead of dealing with that, we just nuked the Russians. So, boom, we're the only superpower in the world, and now we're the corporate states of America, which is kind of ironic. And this house is actually set in 1987, so as you walk into the house at night when it's actually live, you'll see like 80s music, and it's great. It's got like this crazy like 80s theme. Like imagine, like I always describe it as like an evil American Gladiators, which I grew up watching, so... it's really, really cool. So we got a couple images here. So first one is the facade. I believe Courtney took this picture. If the pictures are really good, Courtney took them. With the exception of one picture, which I'm really, really proud of.
Oh, he's so proud.
She's the like the picture social media master. Like if I don't filter something right, she like yells at me on
filters.
Like, yeah, I don't know things about filters and Instagrams.
Yeah, but so this is the facade, and it takes place in Hellgate Prison, which was actually a setting in an older house, and it's run by Warden Robert Strickland, I believe. And you're in a game show where the contestant has to survive, basically, and there are death obstacles in each room, and each room we found out actually represents a different country, because people could come from different countries, and they would be there to try to kill you. And basically whatever like room you would choose to go to next in this maze is like that country. You would have to fight them and battle for your life to try to get to the end. And so it started in Brazil, and there was a room for Japan and Germany, and I mean each of the characters had names and backstories, and it's really incredible all the detail they put into this.
Much to remember.
Yeah, way too much to remember. But when you're walking through, it's hard to get all of that. It's, we had no idea there was so much in this, and it's really amazing. And also with the lights on, we realized how gory it is. This is one of the houses that has some of the nastier things. I realized when I was going through my pictures.
So as I'm just kind of slowly going through here, there is you start off in like Brazil, which is like irradiated. You end up in the showers of Hellgate Prison. Here's Courtney behind the shower curtain.
I think that actually might be on Friday the 13th.
You think?
But yeah. But
all right, never mind. So we'll get to that a little bit later. So I knew one of these was out of order. All right. So when you go through Canada, they've got evil Canadians killing you with power tools.
Mm-hmm. The Canadians are very violent in this reality.
pretty scary. You go through, I believe, Italy or Rome, because there's gladiators. They've got gladiator masks on. They're killing you. They have this spike trap thing, which I don't think I have a picture of in here. But really, when you walk up to it, there's a person, like a character that's pinned to the wall, and you think he's like there and dead. And as you come up to it, he's actually just a fake spike, and he jumps out at you, which is really, really cool. Just one of the victims. Really neat. We also, you go through Japan. I didn't really find a good picture of that, but that was really cool. Then you go through like Germany, and they've got like all this electricity, and this guy waves a wand against this thing, and this is actually looking up at a platform, like a catwalk where they can kind of look at you and really get you.
And their electric chair in there is one that they have used for years and years and years. They didn't have to get a new one; they were able to just keep it running. So that's one of those like props that longtime fans might recognize.
Old Smoky.
Old Smoky. Yeah.
So after we walked out of this house, and we're gonna have to move along at a really, really good pace because I've got like 200 pictures in the slideshow.
There's a lot to talk about. Yeah. Okay.
So after we got through Run, which was really, really cool, it's one of those houses that it's in the disaster queue right now. So if you go in right when the park opens, it gets kind of like a daylight feel to it. Later on, it's dark out. So definitely try it twice if you're going to the park. It's really, really cool. Unfortunately, we did not tour Insidious. But because David was such a cool tour guide, he did let us take a picture of the facade in the daylight. So this is like spot on from Insidious. One of the facades of the house is here.
It's really beautiful. As we said last week, they do a great job with house facades.
Yeah,
I mean, this is where Halloween was last year, and that facade was gorgeous as well.
Yeah. So this is Courtney. Courtney's the main character, the Eileen or whatever her name is, the lady in Insidious, the older lady. I don't remember her specific name right now. But this is like the gate leading into her house. So we were able to kind of pose with this. We actually got like a lot of extra stuff out of our tour that I didn't think was normally included.
Yeah,
so
a lot of bonus.
Yeah, a lot of bonus content here. I'm going to try not to get in trouble, but I think some of these images, we'll just go through them really quick because they'll probably get us in trouble.
It's no big deal.
We were able to walk by the Purge house. This was another house that we actually did not tour. So the Purge, which we'll kind of give our quick rundown a little bit later. But the Purge was actually a little surprising this year.
It was,
considering a lot of us we kind of dismissed it. But we did not do the tour, so we didn't do Insidious. We didn't do the Purge. We just took a couple of pictures as we walked by. But we did actually do The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Now, Walking Dead, 4th year in a row. A lot of people are kind of over The Walking Dead. It's not so much that it's just basically you don't want the same thing over and over again. But The Walking Dead is hugely popular. It's hugely popular, and I honestly think Walking Dead has really made this event kind of jump to another level. So I understand why they keep bringing it back here.
And I wasn't surprised it was on the tour. You know, I'm sure a lot of the fans that come and want to do the tour specifically want The Walking Dead. So, I mean, it was a good opportunity.
It was. And I will admit, man, I actually liked The Walking Dead house this year.
Yeah, this was the first house we went through the first night of the event, at least my first night there. And it was dark and sort of, cramped. It was very different than the one last year. Yeah. But really, really impressive, actually. I think I like it.
I think I did too. I know, right? Like crazy. But the Walking Dead house, it was really, really good. We got some pictures here. So as you walk in, you see the outside of Terminus with these big gas containers or propane tanks or whatever, which really means something in the actual show. They're the ones that Carol blows up to rescue everybody. So it's really, really neat. As we walk in, this is like the first room that you walk in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And the people
right in there.
people at Terminus are cannibals. So when they want to direct everybody to Terminus for Sanctuary, but when you show up, they kill you and eat you. So this is one of the clean chambers or whatever. And I thought this was a neat photo op because some people are actually kneeling next to this guy.
There was a woman who was slitting her husband's throat. Great photo op.
yeah, it's great. Good. Definitely some interesting relationship photos right there.
Relationship goals, for real.
But this was the first kind of trough scene. This is basically where they kill you. They hit you over the head with a bat, and then they slit your throat or whatever. You can see the bins in the back. That's where they kind of sort the actual meat, I guess, if you would. So here's another angle. You can actually see the feed, burn, and wash bins in the background here. So as you walk through this house live, somebody's actually holding the person's head, and they cut the person's throat and actually sprays you with water. This is like a splash zone house.
David was telling us this is one of their wettest houses ever, and if you look on the floor, there's a bunch of matting, and he said anytime that matting is on the floor in a room, you may get wet. And the actually the water effect that they have this year is quite cool, where they had talked about characters being almost 3 or 4 foot deep in water, and we got to see that up close during the day and everything. And they were talking about you know, safety #1, and they have someone who's always on a lookout for that. But you can see in the photo it looks really neat, especially in the dark when you're going through.
Yeah, it's got like that kind of like water reflection on the walls, stuff like that. They're in like hot tubs, and there's 2 of these on. There's one of them on each side, and the zombies are in the water, kind of coming to get you. Which if you watch the show, they end up in like this food pantry that's flooded, and this kind of goes over that actual area. This right here is the revolving door scene, where, spoiler, I guess, Noah met his end in the last season. I thought this was actually really neat that they included this in the house, because at some point in the Walking Dead season, they end up stuck in this revolving door with zombies on either side coming to get you. So you actually walk through this revolving door, which is really, really neat. This is one where I had to wait like 10 minutes to get this picture, because nobody wanted to leave here.
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful set. It really looks like you're going through a revolving elevator door.
Yeah, it's really, really cool.
With some body parts.
Yeah, and they actually have if you can see right there, kind of in the middle bottom here, there is like actually a victim there. So I think they said last year that it's okay to have characters from the show as long as they're dead. I think they don't have the live characters, but if they have passed on, they can actually be in the house. At least that was my understanding from the tour last year.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
They had Herschel's head. He was dead.
So there's poor Noah.
Noah.
Here's my favorite picture in the house. One of the coolest scenes in the last season of The Walking Dead, one that I actually really liked, was at one point they end up in a barn, and like they're surrounded by walkers. And this is the picture that Courtney took of me holding them back by myself. Single-handedly holding
strong man.
Back. Yes. But on the show, like, you know, they're at some point they're all kind of nipping at each other a little bit. They're all kind of a little bit over traveling, you know, and the group is really disgruntled, and this is kind of something that unifies them when they all get together to hold the door and hold the horde of zombies off. So I thought it was really, really neat that they included this actually here.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the show. I don't watch it very often, so I wasn't familiar with any of the scenes, but I did think it looked very neat.
Yeah. So here's the bottom of the elevator scene. At one point in the series, they end up in a hospital, and if you're bad or if you don't obey the rules, they just basically throw you down an elevator shaft, and the zombies get you. So you can see the little rope here where they tried to escape. So that's kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, you end up in Gabriel's church. It's got a bunch of spikes and stuff in front of it, which I think they broke down like the organ to use here. They mentioned on the tour that they actually built up, and this is actually in the parade building. So you can actually look up, and it's like, I don't know, like a story and a half tall church. They built the whole facade for it inside a building, which is really cool. Now the outside of the actual church, there was a cemetery, and they actually reused one of the props from an earlier year from the Dead Silence, Curse of Mary Shaw. And this was actually on the back of the tombstones. We actually had to kind of reach around and take a picture here with a flash, because they didn't. I don't know why they just didn't spin it around, but okay. Maybe it just didn't fit with Walking Dead, I guess.
Yeah, not so much.
Here's Sassy Zombie.
Sassy Zombie. There were a lot of sassy mannequins in the houses this year. We have some sassy jacks, too.
Right. So lots of hands-on hip zombies. This was like a forest scene. I think this is after the hurricane had come by. Many other great things in that house. You go through the truck with the wolves and the loading dock and everything with the actual walkers in it. And then we moved on to the Asylum in Wonderland house, which was a 3D house this year.
Yay!
So when you walk in, most of it's blacklit, and they give you these 3D glasses. I might actually have a pair around here somewhere.
I've got about 50 of them, somewhere.
So we went through this house here. And the reason I'm kind of describing this, because I get to see this a second before she does, so I got to kind of leave it in here. So here's the really cool facade. It's a big comic book cover.
Yes, it's beautiful.
I didn't have enough room to kind of fit it on the screen here. But a lot of things on here, like it says HHN, Up at the top, 25 cents, number 25 to symbolize the 25th
year.
anniversary, September-October issue. So this is what you walk through when you're actually walking in the house.
Yep, and you can see at the top it says ultraviolet comics, and that's because of the UV lighting. There's lots of clever hints on the facade. I love it. I love it.
I actually never noticed that. Hand me a drink.
You need your own personal assistant.
I need an assistant. All right, so I didn't really get a really good picture of the Vortex Tunnel. We were in a group with about, I don't know, was it like 10, 15 people in the tour? So sometimes it was hard to really get good photos because you were wanting to move on to hear what the tour guide was saying, but you were waiting for everybody to go through and take their pictures. So
yeah, and thankfully David was really nice and he let us linger behind for a lot of photos, but we did want to catch up to be able to hear everything he was saying. So there are some things that were definitely hard to get, but it was still a small sized group. Like it's still very private to do those tours.
He definitely let us take our time. It was just, I didn't want him to get too far ahead because I wanted to hear what he had to say because he knew everything. So this is what's called the Vortex Tunnel. Now, somebody in the actual in the comments mentioned that this is very similar to the In Between, which they had a few years ago, which also had like a comic book kind of entrance to it. And the Vortex Tunnel is like a carnival tunnel which spins, and if you watch it, you can like lose your balance. And there are already most of the people at Halloween Horror Nights are already drunk anyways.
I don't know how they get through it. I can't get through it sober. It's extremely disorienting.
So you have to kind of look at your feet, and it said a lot of things. This is basically going down the rabbit hole.
Yes, and the whole point of this house is sort of two stories, and it's Alice questioning whether she's actually in Wonderland or if she's just gone mad in real life. So you see bits of the Wonderland reality and bits of the asylum reality, and the end of the house kind of leaves you questioning your answer to that question. You don't really get an answer whether it's real or you're crazy.
Right. So a lot of Alice in Wonderland blacklight things. These things actually don't look good in like normal light. These are meant to be like viewed with black lights here. So here's the actual caterpillar. Okay, so these are actually on the ceiling. This is probably my favorite thing in the house is it has like all the words of the story of Alice in Wonderland, but they actually highlighted words. Like here it says "off with your head." Other ones talk about like it's all in your head or something like that. It was really cool, and they got like the Cheshire Cat and stuff like that, and it was really, really neat.
Yeah, the Cheshire Cat shows up all over the house. There's writing all over the house, and it's really hard to see it all when you're going through at night, just because the lights and all the people and everything. So it was neat to be able to see that. I think there was one quote that said, "I'm not crazy. My reality is just different than yours," and I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, that was cool. Here's like a little behind the scenes thing. Somebody drew like a little chalk ghost and a little message here. Hi, I'm a big scary ghost. So we did get to see some of the stuff that you actually don't see when you're normally walking through the house. So that was kind of cool. Here's the throne room where the Queen of Hearts sits, off with your head.
Oh, I love it.
Which is really, really cool. Now, one of the effects that isn't in place right now that we actually learned is that they have this hallway afterwards that you walk through that's supposed to have all kinds of Alice heads in there, like off with your head. And apparently they're not done yet or they haven't arrived yet, but at some point they will be added to the house. You're going to walk through a bunch of like hanging heads in here, which should be pretty neat. The room looks pretty cool anyways, but it'll be nice with severed heads, I suppose.
Yeah, there are a few things that are still missing this year. So, I mean, it's a little bit of a bummer that we went this early because we did miss a couple of the things that are on their way. But it's neat to imagine how they're going to evolve in the coming days.
Right. So here's one of the final scenes in the house. This is basically where you find her and she's in an asylum. Alice, and it's funny because like if you look up in this thing, you got all kinds of like torture stuff because it's actually one of the Shrek waiting rooms for the second theater, so it was kind of neat. The pattern on the floor, which I don't have a picture of here, is this big like checkered spiral thing, which beautiful. Is insane looking. It's really, really cool.
Definitely look at the floors while you're walking through if you can, if you're not too dizzy.
We're moving on to the third house here, the 25 Years of Monsters of Mayhem. Now they didn't actually. They didn't tell us. Like, we were actually, like, kind of bumming out as we were walking around a little bit because he didn't tell us which houses we were doing. And I can't imagine that they would have ever left this off the actual tour. But, we didn't know. This is, like, this is my second favorite house. So I wanted to really
second favorite.
My favorite's Body Collectors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
At least,
I thought that was only my favorite.
At least first kind of gut impression. So
Mm-hmm.
this is basically like the greatest hits reel of the last 25 years of Halloween Horror Nights.
It is great.
And the pictures here do not do this justice at all. I could probably spend hours in here because they've got so many different scenes from so many different houses here. But we're gonna kind of run down some very, very quick highlights. So you walk in. Oops, that's Alice again. And you see my favorite picture that I took, which is the facade of the house, and this is the best picture I will ever take in my entire life.
Everyone tell him it's great because he needs it.
Yes. Sorry.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great photo.
I love this. And I knew this. I had seen the blueprints. I'd seen the early reports on this, and this is just the only picture that I wanted, and I got it. So it was really, really cool. But as you walk around, these actual signs, Eddie, it has all the different ushers here. Not ushers. All the different icons or sub-icons of the event. They kind of spin around. This is all lit up with carnival lighting and everything. So it's really, really, really neat.
Oh, it's amazing to walk into.
Courtney took this picture. Mine didn't turn out so well, but here's just Jack that we found. It was really cool. They hired one artist to actually go in and do all of the art here. And if you look here on Eddie, here on the left-hand side, apparently they spelled his name wrong.
Yeah, in the first one that they got back, it was spelled Eddy. So they had to get that.
That was a little tidbit to get it fixed. Now, as we walk in, and these could be out of order because there were just so many pictures here, but we end up through the Forsaken, which is basically the fourth ship for the Columbus. And if you look at this picture, it looks like it's actually tilted because it is. This is me standing up straight, looking down the actual hallway, because as you walk, you're actually walking a little sideways.
Yes,
and,
it's very difficult to get through sometimes.
And things are popping out at you, trying to get you.
They come out of nowhere. This room really gets to me.
Yeah, it's really cool. Now, I always had a question about this room because I was wondering like how somebody would push a wheelchair through here. And if you look at the bottom left, barely at the bottom left, you can kind of see some little black rubber matting, because if you actually are in a wheelchair, you actually take like a little side route to get through there. So
yep, and they showed there was even a door for the actor to go through. If he could notice that a wheelchair was coming through, he could just sort of slide back into a little alcove and wait for them to pass and hopefully scare the guest in the wheelchair, and then come back out for the rest of the guests. It was really cleverly designed. Yeah,
it's really cool. So here's one of the guys here. At some point, you end up in Nightingale's, which is my favorite house, which is a World War I trenches. This is actually from this year, Halloween Horror Nights 21. So I was very happy to see this. This was also one of my favorite house that I've ever gone through. I hope they do a sequel someday. So all kinds of stuff. You end up going through Gothic. Now, this face right here, when you look at it, it literally looks like a human being staring at you. It's scary. So Gothic was the gargoyles that come out and get you at night.
Yes, it still scares me to this day when I walk through.
Here, I don't remember what part this was in, but this is one of the mirror effects. Now, you can barely see it, but if you actually look past where this is our tour guide, David Bryn here, both sides of this are set up the same exact way. You can kind of see the light bulbs on the other side of this. And this is what they call a mirror gag, and they use this like for Bloody Mary. And the nail polish here, I don't think I actually got the picture, but the nail polish actually says Bloody Mary on it. And
yep, it does. That was their little homage to Bloody Mary in the mirror. It's really cute, and you would never notice walking through if you didn't do the tour.
Yeah. So here's one of my favorite moments, and I'm glad we actually got this. This is the tomb of Cindy, which is Eddie's little sister. No, no. It's
Albert Kane's daughter.
Albert Kane's daughter. That's right. Sorry. I get them confused. There's so many. But here, it's like here you see the sarcophagus, and he jumps out. Rah, rah. I love it when I get to do this with pictures.
What?
So you can actually, this is one of the scares in the house, is where the actual tomb, the sarcophagus opens and somebody pops out and gets you. So they have little nods to all of the little icons, sub-icons all over the place.
Oh, yeah. And Cindy is in the Icon Scare Zone this year, actually. And she's fantastic. And she has been
seeing a picture of her later.
Possibly. She's been making jokes about burning down the orphanage with all the little children inside. And she's really great. So go talk to her if you see her.
Yeah. So here's the hallway. It's got all kinds of portraits in it. But at the very end, you get to see a nice little portrait of Jack here. If you move a little closer here, just a very classic portrait. I would definitely want this hanging over my fireplace. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where can I buy one?
I know, right? Well, you can probably buy one at the designer forum for like $800, but that's beside the point. We end up in a classic monster section here. This is just a couple quick pictures that we took of the Dr. Frankenstein's lab. You can see the hand there. This is actually, if you look up, it's on like a little platform here, you know, as Frankenstein's monster is being created.
Yeah, it's a beautiful room, and it's actually it's very similar to the Frankenstein set that they used to have at the House of Horrors over in Hollywood. So you might recognize it when you walk through.
I wish they would build something like that here. Like a year-round haunt.
Year-round. That would be amazing. Fingers crossed. Someday.
And now in the back, you can't actually see this when you're walking through, but if you actually peek around where that little pedestal pillar thing is, you actually have a picture of the monsters here.
Yeah.
So you can't see this, but this is kind of like a cute little nod, kind of like that ghost in the asylum in Wonderland house. You guys can't see this, but it's there for whatever reason. So there's lots of random stuff you don't get to see. So people are.
I know now. I'm really jealous of this characters because now I'm realizing how many little things are in the room that I can't even see that only they would see. They probably have a lot of like little jokes about it that the guests have no idea.
This is one of the Jack rooms. You go through and you see the various iterations of Jack the Clown. This is like the classic Jack, where you go in and it's got like him in the full-on like clown outfit. They're supposed to. They also, if you kind of see to the right here, I'm not sure if I have a good picture of it, but they also see like the next iteration of Jack that has like the riding jacket on, like this. I don't know how this hat got on the mannequin. It just kind of flew off my head. Apparently Jack is a huge HauntScene fan, so let's just quickly move on. Now, what was really cool about this is probably one of my favorite parts of the tour, is after we got out of that house, they actually took us to American Werewolf in London. Now, we did not tour that house, but they actually let us pose with the actual werewolf. And as a bonus to that, they actually had another like tour guide moving the actual werewolf so we could actually get some really, really good pictures.
Yep, and this is actually the new werewolf that they added this year.
Which is horrifying, man.
He
oh
is.
My God.
He's terrifying up close. When the other guy moved it near my face, I wanted to jump away.
I literally thought it was going to bite me in the face. It was like snap, like right in my face. It was crazy.
Yeah. These things are terrifying in the dark. Oh my gosh. And they get real close to you. You got to be careful walking through there.
And they have like strobe effects too. So like you blink for a moment, it's like right there in your face.
Right there.
So the puppeteers, and they seem like they're more articulate. They have more articulation this year. They think they edited them, fixed them a little bit. So they're cool. So here's Courtney's picture. As we move on here. Oh, here's mine. Okay. So I'm posing with the werewolf. Somehow, the werewolf also is a fan of HauntScene.com. These are completely unauthorized, by the way, but that's a really cool picture right there.
We have to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had to.
Don't be mad.
Please don't be mad. Let us on tours in the future. That was really, really cool. So thank you for this. Just little. This is something they didn't have to do for us, but they actually let us in there. So that was really, really cool.
It was a total bonus. I was so excited we got to do that because I never went on a tour in 2013 when the house was here originally, and I was so sad I never got a picture with the wolf. So this was so nice.
Then we move on to Freddy vs. Jason. Now we saw the shower picture of Courtney earlier, which was in this house. Maybe I just got my showers confused because there are multiple shower scenes this year. But we start off at the sign for Camp Crystal Lake. So here's Courtney out in front of the sign. Here's me in front of the sign here. The first third of this house is actually being sassy. The first third of this house is all the Camp Crystal Lake stuff. So you're going through, the Jason Voorhees and everything. And one thing we found out, and we actually noticed this when we were going through the house, is all the Jasons are huge. They're like huge guys, and apparently they cast them, and they said between 6'3" and 6'8". So these guys just tower over you, and they're huge Jason Voorhees guys, so they're cool. And
they are freaky.
And Courtney actually knows one, which we might talk to at some point.
Yes.
Here's a little shrine to the Jason Voorhees' mother. All kinds. I mean, there was just so much information that he gave us in this house. I was in like overload.
Oh my gosh. Shrine. Yes, David knew about every single Friday the 13th movie, every single Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and he was just spewing off detail after detail after detail. It was
Yeah,
incredible.
it's like
It's hard to keep up.
it's like I know we can't actually like video record it, but I just want to like audio record what he says.
I know. Can he make a CD just like
Right.
telling us everything about all the houses? That'd be fantastic. I'd buy
He
it.
went down the line of every single movie and like says,
Every single one.
it was great. It was awesome. Even Jason X.
I also want a CD of this year's soundtrack because the music this year is on point, spectacular.
Yeah, it's really really good. So here's one of the first rooms that you walk through. This is like the actual camping room with bunk beds here. You see a victim right there on top.
I believe it was supposed to be Kevin Bacon from the first film.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
I think, yeah, because he had an arrow through his throat. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go through a couple more scenes from there. You end up actually with this house built into soundstage. Once again, another amazing facade of the actual 1428 Elm Street, which is the house from Nightmare on Elm Street here. So,
It's so gorgeous. And two of the creepiest characters are standing there. And in my opinion, they're the two little girls that have their eyes gouged out. And sometimes they're jumping rope. And they don't come at you. They just stand there. And it's terrifying.
so, yeah, it's two little girls. They're doing the Freddy chant thing. You know, 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you, all that stuff here. We did get a couple other pictures. Here's Courtney holding the Elm Street sign. This is like,
Elm Street.
she's like, here, hold my picture. And half the
Dream
time,
come
she's
true.
like, please take good pictures of me.
He couldn't figure out my camera. It was a disaster. I was definitely getting bossy.
Her camera is like in another tax bracket. So we got a good picture here, Elm Street. Awesome picture. Right when you walk in the house, up the stairs, you see little Freddy's back things. We got a little good picture of that.
Freddy.
Then we go through 3 rooms, which actually have, like, from my personal favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. They got the puppet death, so the guy that gets his little tendons cut and he walks off the building. So
Real
that's kind of
gross.
neat.
Real gross.
We also have the next house, which was the next room was this. I think this is the Welcome to Primetime bitch or something like that quote. Maybe I have that wrong, but I remember it basically she falls asleep and Freddy comes out of the TV and picks her up and slams her head into the TV. So that was really really cool. Also see like the Freddy turns into like this huge worm snake looking thing and tries to eat somebody at some point.
Yeah, I love that this house has so many scenes from so many of the different movies. It's like an homage to all of Freddy and Jason, and then we get them together. It's so great.
Except it seemed like it left out of like a lot of the actual Freddy vs. Jason movie, which shocker.
Yeah,
Kind of a little bit, but most of it's like based on the movies themselves.
I don't have a problem with that because I never got to go through a Friday the 13th house or a Nightmare on Elm Street house. So I feel like I get a little bit of both now. So
yeah. So here's where we kind of get into Freddy's lair. We end up underground, like boiler rooms, and everything is rusty and chains hanging from the ceiling. Lots of mirrors to make it look like it's going on forever. They really use mirrors really effectively this year, so that's really cool.
Oh yeah, if I had lingered back a little, I think I did to take this photo. I actually a couple times had to like take a double glance to figure out which way to turn.
Like over there.
Yeah.
All right, so here's one of the Freddys here. Now, one thing about the Freddy vs. Jason house is they actually have a lot of conflict. As you walk through the Freddy vs. Jason's house, you see the actual characters kind of going at it, and they push themselves kind of off screen. You see these big, like, movie projection screens of them actually fighting. So it's really, really cool. Really, really good effect.
They're really neat.
But it wasn't really something we could take pictures of because, you know, they weren't on. But at the end of the house, whether you get cast A or cast B, you actually have a victor. And that was something that David was really, he really told us about, is we had to have a victor. So when you see Freddy losing, Jason Voorhees.
Michael Myers shows up.
Michael Myers shows up. Jason Voorhees actually stabbing him through the chest with a machete. So he would be one at that point. And I think we have a picture of the other Victor thing as well. We'll get there here in a second.
Well, the victor is actually at the end because David was telling us in the movie that it's kind of clear Jason wins, but then, you know, he comes up out of the water at the end with Freddy's head, and Freddy winks and, you know, he's still alive. So it's like neither one of them won.
Kind of like a
so
draw.
in this house at the very end, either Jason or Freddy will come out, and then you know which one has won the battle because they really wanted to give us a victor. But unfortunately, I've been through this house 3 or 4 times now, and every time I've gone through, Jason has been the winner. So I really want to try to go through at a different time this weekend and see what Freddy looks like at the end.
So here's one scene. You're actually under a boat, so you're like underwater. Because I guess Freddy's giving Jason a nightmare of drowning because that's like his biggest fear. And then later on, we'll actually see a picture of Jason Voorhees with that. We actually got some bonus pictures. I try to keep things in order of the actual tour. The last house, last but not least.
No, and this my favorite.
After we surmise that we're actually getting through this house because we didn't know that we were going to do this. Body Collectors, which was the most anticipated house as far as touring the house after I actually got to go through it. So Body Collectors Recollections, which is a prequel to the other Body Collectors houses here, so we actually get some of the story here. Courtney, try to contain yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm so in love with it. You
should have heard her walking through the house,
I'm
man.
so in love with this.
Yeah. So as we walk through here, here's a picture of us in front of the facade. It's a big asylum here. So somebody helped us out with this picture, which is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't blow it up bigger in the stream, but it was a really, really neat photo.
And it's actually Shadybrook Asylum, which we have seen in old houses. So we've got a mashup here. And actually, when you go in, even though this house takes place in the 1800s, they're playing a song from the 1920s that has been used in other body collectors' houses, just to let us experience that with the body collectors, which I was so happy about, because if I could have brought back anything to be able to experience it live this year, I would have asked for body collectors. So really happy.
I actually went back and watched that episode of Buffy.
Oh yay! Did you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I mean,
oh, come on. It's great. It's awesome.
All right. But it was entertaining. If you haven't, it's Hush, which is episode 10 of season something. I don't know. Somebody told me. I watched it. Last chat, somebody told me what it was. I think it was Ashley.
Ashley, yeah.
So you walk right in, burning lady. Apparently some nurse answered the door, and they just walked in and just started killing people. Yep. And as you walk into the house is live, it's a blizzard. Okay, the code name of the house was Blizzard. It's actually snowing outside. Everything's covered in snow, which is really, really neat. So here's victim number one. One neat little thing I saw in the house, or they actually told us about, and I did not notice this the couple times I've gone through the house, is they have like the little idol from Indiana Jones here on the right.
Yeah.
The little fertility idol, so that was kind of cool. They put like little neat things in here. I'm a big fan of I love the hallways. I just love the scenery. So whenever I had an opportunity to take a picture of a hallway or just the architecture of everything, I got a chance to do that. A lot of these windows are broken and it's snowing outside, so people reach in for you and everything like that. It's really, really cool. Here's the crazy, crazy chandelier in one of the rooms that's just made out of bones and body parts.
Yeah, this is actually right above the spine rip scene. So the first time we went through, I didn't even notice this. I had seen pictures before, and I was like, wait, where was the chandelier? I didn't see it. And it's because I had been watching the spine rip scene so intensely. Right. But then I realized the second time it was right above it, and it's incredible. There's so much to look at. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. The observers of the spine rip scene, these are all the body collectors actually watching the spine rip scene, which looks like this. Basically, there's a victim laying on their stomach, and they're at an angle here, so when the actual body collector pulls back on this spine, it looks like they're getting their spine ripped out. So it's a really, really convincing effect. As a matter of fact, there's it looks like they're carving like a piece out of their calf as well. So of course, we had to have David demonstrate for us. So he grabbed the spine and kind of pulled it back a little bit. There might be some other pictures of some other people grabbing the spine, but those never happened.
Those never, ever happened.
Yeah. Okay. So that was really, really
he was telling us that they learned that they had to have a whole separate setup of this, and it's on wheels, so that when they need to change casts, they can just sort of switch it easily without the scene getting disturbed, which was neat, because this was a classic body collector's gag, and I guess in the first time they did it, they didn't know that, and things got really kind of chaotic when they needed to switch actors.
Right. They actually did a similar thing in Dollhouse last year. Never mind. All right. So here's one of the kind of the towards the end, we started taking pictures. Here's me with one of the body collectors. Now, as you go through one of the final rooms, you actually see all these little alcoves, and you see that the body collectors are actually put together. They're created by all of these body parts. So that's actually how they come to be.
Yes, that is what we learned. Body collectors are not born. They are made out of body parts, and that is why they are always collecting them.
Yeah, kind of like the clowns from last year.
Giggles and gore, yeah. Clowns are not born. They are created.
Right. Okay. In that room, there's another like little spoke wheel thing with a bunch of heads and spines here. It's funny because you see a lot of these pictures in the daylight, and you see them with actually like full lighting. A lot of times when you walk through here, it's like dark or has like a red tint to it or whatever. A lot of these pictures really don't do the houses justice when you go through them. Like, it's really impressive. You know?
It really is. It's
really,
beautiful.
really cool. So, as another bonus here, and I couldn't find your picture of this, unfortunately, and I really wanted to include it. The last thing that they took us on was they actually let us go up on the platform with Jason here and take a picture. So it was really, really cool. David actually, took our cameras and took pictures with us. And a couple interesting things about this photo is if you look at the middle, you actually see like little kind of holes in the shirt. This is where Freddy is clawing him in the stomach.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. And another thing that we noticed as we walked through the house is what a lot of things had like little strips of green tape on them. And apparently that's how they go through. They walk through the houses after like the night's over. And this is how they mark things that need to be fixed or replaced or whatever, things that get broken or stolen. So this is actually the one of the last pictures that we were able to take in the scare zone. And now this is like scratching the surface barely of the pictures we took. There's so many. I uploaded a lot to our Flickr account, so HauntScene Radio. When I get permission, I'll make those public. They have to be reviewed first by the reviewer. Yes. And then at some point, I'm sure Courtney will make the photos public. It's just we haven't had time. Like right when we left Horror Nights last weekend, like I started work, she started school, so yeah.
It's a lot to get through, yeah. Be patient. But we do have a lot of great photos. But as he said, it doesn't do it justice. You really you got to come see it in person. This year is amazing. It's such a strong lineup, and that's why I'm struggling so hard. I can't even put them in order because everything is it's spectacular. And the casting is great. The makeup is great. The sets are so good.
Yeah, it's just really, really good this year. They really outdid themselves. No hat photo here because, he was right there. We had a comment here. Do you notice how much stuff is screwed down? And I did. Everything is screwed down, man. They don't want you taking anything. One thing, when you go early in the event, everything's fresh and new and everything. But by the end of the event, I mean, with thousands and thousands and thousands of people walking through this house, a lot of stuff kind of starts to get, nicked up, broken, taken.
Yeah, I know David was telling us that in the Alice in Wonderland house, every card on the wall was stapled like one by one. And I know people are going to probably start stealing those, which makes me sad because I know they put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, everything is pretty well in place this year. I think they're going to try to avoid stealing as long as they can.
So as we move out of the tour, we were able to actually experience the event live this weekend, and we took a lot of pictures of some of the characters in the scare zones. And you had a little conversation with evil Steampunk from Scary Tale Screampunk, the little Pinocchio. What was he saying to you?
Yeah. I don't exactly remember.
He
talked to me a few times. Yeah, he asked me if I was a celebrity photographer and he wanted to be my model, and he's just very crazy. And I know one of the other characters in there was trying to play Russian roulette with one of our friends. They're definitely acting crazy from this team, and I think they're beautiful. I love seeing all the costumes.
This particular scare zone, when you first walk through it, when the actual park just opens, they've got like some balloon thing, like steampunk thing, but you have to wait until it gets dark to really enjoy this because they've got all these projections of these like gears and stuff, and it really kind of enhances this scare zone. Because the first couple times I went through it, I was like, really? And then you get to see it later on when it's really dark, and then at that point you get to the full effect.
I have to admit this is actually my least favorite scare zone this year. It may just be that I haven't spent enough time in it, but it seems that I feel like there's not enough to it. There's some great costumes and everyone looks good, but it's not particularly scary at all. Right. I don't know. I just feel like it needs some more props or something, and I think it may change a little. It may evolve. Some more steam. Yeah.
So here's Cindy Kane is here.
Cindy.
Every picture I've taken, it's funny because I was looking at the pictures that you took and the pictures
Mm-hmm.
that I took, and they're all like really consistent and perfect. So she's like the most photogenic, like sub icon, I guess, like ever.
Yeah.
So all of her pictures are like flawless.
She's fantastic. I really love her.
Here's your favorite. This is going to be the Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, I do. I love it so much. Well, I don't know. Actually, my favorite this year might be Victor Frankenstein, the doctor. I am obsessed.
Okay.
He's perfect.
So you notice that the characters in this scare zone, which is the all-night die-in, they're all in like a grayscale paint. At least one cast is, because they have classic monsters in black and white with the black and white movies on the screen, and then you actually see the color, they'll switch out for the color more contemporary, modern type horror. But that was kind of neat. Here's Courtney's candidate for the character of the year, the super badass prisoner female chainsaw-wielding person who's just insane.
She's awesome. She was amazing. She blew my mind.
Yeah, she is like super aggressive and really, really neat. I actually really like this picture, Courtney, you and your photographic eye, because in the background you see Mel's die-in. It's Mel's drive-in during the day, but they actually, they take out the R and the V, so this is kind of like a classic Halloween Horror Nights effect. So good on you.
Thanks.
Got some black and white Nosferatu.
The character playing him is really, really good. I've seen him interacting with people, and he's sort of like played around with me and my friends a couple times, so he's great. All the casting is so good this year.
Now, if you can see Nosferatu, who's that in the background? I see somebody in like a lab coat.
I think that's Victor.
Oh, okay. All right. I haven't actually seen him yet. I didn't get it. Unfortunately, I had to duck out a little bit early on Saturday because I was like in horrible pain. But I will hopefully be better this weekend. But
I do have a great photo of him, so I'll have to share that with you.
All right, cool.
He's amazing.
Going forward, and Evil Witch Steampunk.
Yeah, I think the Wicked Witch of the East.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat. Good picture. She's always hiding behind that wall. Like every time I see her, she's always like hiding, waiting for people to come through the queue.
Definitely her favorite spot right there. Yeah.
We see the evil Belle, I think, type thing. Looks like Belle with her face slashed apparently by the beast, and she's got a gun. And
yep, they've got a beast character as well. They're both on the street at the same time.
Okay, that's cool.
I think their outfits are nice. It's interesting.
Yeah,
I love the steampunk aesthetic. I just don't know if it's scary.
Right. Then we've got in the scare zone for the actual icons. You see, we've got Albert Kane, the caretaker. Now, everybody, all of the main icons have like a little scene behind, and they do like a kill every once in a while. So they bring like a random plant. We haven't had enough time in the park to really get good footage or good photos of those yet, but hopefully we will.
Yeah, so far I've only seen the storyteller's kill, and it's really good, but I definitely want to see the others.
So here's the director. So he's got like an empty bathtub. I'm assuming he electrocutes somebody. Sounds like it.
I think all of their kills are the same as what they did in the Arrival show for Sweet 16.
Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, he's kind of creepy.
He's amazing.
Here's the storyteller. She's like a nice old lady, I think.
So nice.
Tears out your tongue on stage like that.
Until that happens.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer. So that's always good. We have the Usher. So Usher here, I don't really know how his kill works, but the Usher, a lot of times I walk by and he wasn't on stage. Maybe it was just bad timing or I wasn't in there too much.
He was walking around a lot off stage, actually.
Okay, maybe.
And he has a lot of minions as well.
Right, like mini Ushers.
Yeah.
Last photo that we have in the reel here, like I said, none of the photos really do any of this justice. You gotta go. You gotta go to the event. It's amazing. They have all these projections of 25. They're really celebrating the event this year. So that was, it's really, really cool. I tried to get some like sweeping, epic shots of everything, and it's just too much. So definitely go and just kind of like take it in. I don't even think you could really, really enjoy the event if you just go once. There's so many small little things that you're gonna miss. So I would definitely recommend like a multi-night pass, like a Freak and Fear, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've gone 2 nights now, and I already know the second day that I went, I saw so much more, and then when we did the tour, I saw so much more, and there's still so much I haven't seen at all.
Right.
I get, it's one of those years. If you've never bought a frequent fear pass before, or one of the multi-day tickets, this is the year to do it
Yeah,
because there's
definitely.
so much.
Yeah, definitely go more than one night. It's just there's too much.
Absolutely.
And now that we've actually gotten through every house and we've gotten to see the shows and everything like that, I guess we might as well talk about Bill and Ted for a moment. It's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty entertaining. Courtney's not really a Bill and Ted fan,
I'm
but
not, admittedly.
it was entertaining. I mean, there was nothing really epic and quotable this year, at least yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only seen the show once, but like right out of the gate last year, there was like puppet dying and look at me, I'm the captain now, like all kinds of stuff. And maybe we're just not there yet, or maybe I just need more exposure. It's a good show. It just, I will admit, Bill and Ted this year is actually overshadowed a little bit by the Jack Show.
Oh my gosh, the Jack
Because
Show.
the Jack Show, The Carnage Returns, is
Celebrate the kill.
insane.
Oh my gosh, I want to watch it every night. I'm not gonna get tired of it.
It
It's so
is
good.
so crazy. We'll probably have some better footage of that. I did do some GoPro stuff. Wasn't that great? But it's crazy. You can look it up online. Just it's The Carnage Returns on YouTube. It's really, really good. Especially when I'm not saying that the other Jack isn't that great, but the Keaton, first name, whatever.
James Keaton.
Yeah, that guy. When he is actually on stage and they've got like the Chance, the little sidekick chick.
Aaron, yeah.
Oh my god, dude. It is
Oh,
phenomenal.
it really is. It
It's
really
really,
is.
really good.
And during the show, Jack says that he is Horror Nights and that we've gone soft over the past few years. And he makes some call outs to The Walking Dead, he
Twister.
even says puppet dying. And
Right.
there's so much in there for people that we would recognize and appreciate. And it's gory, it's raunchy, it's
Yeah.
gritty, it's everything you would want it to be. And it really is Carnival of Carnage 2015.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I've never, like, when I saw it the first time, which is at the member preview, and after we got done chanting "kill, kill, kill, kill" for like,
Okay,
I was just like, my mouth was like agape at the end. I could feel my mouth
it's
open.
so good.
I was like, I can't even believe I just witnessed that. So it was really, really good because we didn't really, before the last Jack show that I know of was in 2007, and we missed that. So
Yeah.
this is really, really cool. So just like that article said, I don't remember who wrote it, but if you ever missed out on anything you've ever heard of and you want to experience it, this is definitely the year to go. If you go to one year of Horror Nights ever in your life, go this year. FFS, So
Go.
we're running a little bit low on time, so we're gonna very quickly go over some merchandise that we bought.
Okay.
And now Courtney bought a couple things. I probably spent way too much money, but I got lots of cool stuff. So I bought some stuff. So go ahead and show what you got, Courtney.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't buy much yet. I unfortunately didn't bring enough money with me last weekend, but I also know that not everything is out yet, so I'm kind of waiting to see what else pops up. Today I saw a Jack, like a USB port drive, flash drive, and I want it so bad. But I did buy the Jack vinyl from this year. He's adorable. He's in his ringmaster costume from this year. I really like it, and I heard. Yeah, and I heard that we're gonna get some other vinyls in soon too, hopefully. So I always buy them. I give in for the vinyls, and then I bought the lanyard this year just because it's kind of affordable. And then, it's really neat. It has the 25 logo, Jack. I just love the styling this year. I'm a huge fan of like freak show carnival stuff, so I really like our logo and the stripes and everything. And then I had to get a Blinky cup. I tried the Dufftoberfest, the new brew. It's really good, so definitely try that out. And with the Blinky cup, I think it's like your first one is like $11-12, and then refills are like $7.99. And the design this year is really neat. And obviously it blinks, and it's really cool. So I had to get one. But that's all I have so far. I am going to spend much more money, but I couldn't do it this weekend.
All right, so all that stuff I got too. So I was showing it as you showed it, but I definitely bought the actual house shirt this year. So they have the house shirt here, and on the front it's really cool. It says all jacked up. I'm not a huge fan of this like blood splattered paint. I really like this is why this is my favorite shirt, because it has like a design to it. On the back it has all the houses on here, just like every year they have all the house shirts. It is missing the Purge, though, because, at some point, there were some issues with, Scream or whatever, so at the last minute, they weren't sure exactly what they were doing.
Unfortunately.
But that's okay. I mean, whatever. Other stuff that I bought, let's see, because I have it all over the place.
I'm jealous. I hope they don't sell out of everything before I get to it.
I hope they don't either. I probably should have unwrapped this stuff. Ooh, it's like Christmas.
Christmas.
So I looking ahead to our drunk edition, which will be in early November. I bought
our post Horror Nights Woe
shooter of Halloween Horror Nights 25, so I'm probably going to need that. Going along with that, I actually purchased a shot glass that has on the 21. And I haven't even gotten started yet. There's so many, I don't really think I ever need a koozie, but I really need a koozie with Jack on it. So, shot glass, Horror Nights 25.
And you have the phone case.
And the big ticket item, which was ridiculously priced but amazing, is the iPhone 6 and 6S phone case, which is just dead sexy.
I want it so bad, but my phone won't work. Look, I have Tower of Terror, though. I still have a cool phone case, but yeah.
Nowhere near as cool. Other things that we purchased, and let's see, I purchased the Annual Passholder Pin, which is pretty neat this year.
I didn't know you got it.
I did. It's just every year they do something special for the annual pass holders. So if you can see that, it's just got like the little 25 logo on it and says annual pass holder on it. They only sell this to annual pass holders. Probably the coolest thing that I got, and I didn't really get this for me, but I actually got this for us to commemorate the first year of the show, was the ornament that we actually, one of our first articles that we ever wrote for the website was for Stephanie, who creates the ornaments in the little Christmas shop. So they have a special ornament this year that actually has Jack on it. So you can kind of see it here, which is really,
and you could get it on any color ornament you wanted, what they offered there, with different kinds of different fonts, different style logos, whatever you wanted written on there. They're really neat.
And I had it personalized for us, the HauntScene 2015 on the back. So... if the show makes it, if it doesn't make it or whatever, at least we'll always have this ornament.
We'll always have the ornament.
So that was really, really cool. I have a feeling I'm going to be spending more money, so I'm going to have to get an employee on hand to hopefully give me some kind of discount this year. Because, dear God, man, I dropped a lot of money that first night. It was ridiculous. But I didn't have to carry it all around. I wanted the first night with the employee preview, I wanted to just get it all done, take it to my car, be done.
Yeah.
So that was cool. So it's 9:10 right now. I know we had a couple false starts here getting this episode started. I learned a couple things that I won't be messing with next week. So that shouldn't happen again.
Thanks for sticking with us.
But you'll never know what'll happen because I'm going to delete those episodes and we'll just pretend it never happened.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys going in and watching the show. We had a couple people, couple fans here. Let's see. So it will be banned like voodoo. Apparently Tired Old Spook thinks that the Jack show is going to get nerfed. I hope not. I mean, they do give that big disclaimer right in the beginning. If you don't like it, leave.
Yeah. I feel like there's a possibility it will be toned down, but there's no way they would just get rid of it. Yeah. There's no way.
Now, it's funny he says that because next weekend we'll actually be hanging out with... a little bit. We'll be hanging out with Ronnie Fox when we do howl-o-scream. So the next episode that we do, we're actually going to transition away from Horror Nights for a little bit. Actually, it might be a couple weeks. So we'll still be doing Horror Nights, getting pictures and videos, getting all kinds of stuff. And we will definitely come back to revisit the event. But for over the next few weeks, we plan on doing like the howl-o-scream. That'll be the next episode. Probably the Shallow Grave after that. A couple other things like Vault of Souls, scream-a-geddon, Petrified Forest, Haunting an Old Town, if we can get to these. So we have a loose plan of what we want to do going forward, but next week we should probably have a whole new design. It'll all be howl-o-scream and stuff like that, because I want to make sure every episode is themed to the actual event. But thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with us, like Courtney says. Courtney, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making this possible, because I could not do this by myself. And I know you freak out a little bit, when we do these episodes and everything like that, but but I appreciate you keeping me in line and showing me how to not do social media correctly. So I appreciate that. So
well, I couldn't do it without you.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate if you guys ever need anything else, if you're a haunt, you want us to come out and review you want us to come out and talk about the event, do on location stuff, just reach out to us. We'll have our contact information in the credits that's coming up right now, or reach out to us through HauntScene.com. We have all our contact information there. We'd love to hang out. We're all about the actual community. We're not, we're not internet trolls or anything like that. We actually celebrate this stuff that we get to do. So I'm going to go ahead and roll credits now. Courtney, I'll probably talk to you here in a moment, but thank you guys for watching so much.
Have a good night. Bye.
Spookeasy. You're supposed to say your tagline.
Oh, happy haunting.
All right, here we go.
Bye.
See you next week.